3, 2, 1, action. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Titans Tube, and in this one we are going to recap what we just saw take place last night in Super Bowl 52, an epic game where the Philadelphia Eagles took down the Empire, finally, that is the New England Patriots. Final score 41-33. Is that right? I'm blanking.
Yes, that is
41-33, 8-point win for the Philadelphia Eagles. And, yeah, there's a lot to talk about in this game. It was an exciting back-and-forth game. Huge, barn-burning offensive showing throughout. But Tom Brady falls to 5-3 in Super Bowls. So, Caleb, he can take on Kurt Warner, Donovan McNabb, Matt Ryan, and Russell Wilson in Super Bowls, but Lord forbid he should see Eli Manning and now the elite Nick Foles in Super Bowls. He will go down.
Wow.
NFC East quarterbacks are his kryptonite. But yeah, an incredible game. And quick note again, Tom Brady, one of the most divisive players in the NFL. You either love him or you hate him. But one thing we can agree on is that when he plays in Super Bowls, it is an epic game. And we got another one. I mean, if you made a list of top 5 all-time Super Bowls, you could reasonably have all New England Patriots Super Bowls in there, honestly. But yeah, what a game. Let's get into it. Caleb, what are your reactions? What are your thoughts whilst you were watching this game yesterday?
One, I think you nailed it right on the head. This was like the Super Bowl that fans have been wanting and asking for years to come. I mean, for years past. Everyone wants to see just a high-scoring shootout in every NFL game, and then especially the Super Bowl. That's the way the league is trending, and the league got what it wanted. You're welcome, Roger Goodell. Yeah, you're welcome. I didn't do anything, but
Roger Goodell got to see an epic Super Bowl from his league, and also at the same time got to see the Patriots lose, which he probably enjoyed witnessing. So
yeah, and
he got
another
what he
point.
wanted.
You said it exactly correct. I think we talked about it in our predictions game episode. But when Tom Brady and the Patriots play in the Super Bowl, it's an epic Super Bowl no matter what happens. I thought last year's Super Bowl couldn't be topped when the Patriots came back 28-3. But from start to finish, this might have been the most entertaining, by far the most entertaining Super Bowl I've ever watched. One of the most entertaining football games period I've ever watched. I mean, it combined for the most yards in a regular season game, a postseason game, any game in like the history of the NFL since football has been played, which is just insane. It's, I mean, this is what I was expecting if like it were to be a Drew Brees and Tom Brady matchup, but no, we got it from an unexpected hero in Nick Foles, Pastor Foles, bringing the heat on Super Bowl Sunday and torching the Patriots defense.
That was unbelievable. Yeah. I think quick note on Nick Foles. He is an instant Philadelphia legend now. And I'm pretty sure they are going to rename those cheesesteaks up there Foley cheesesteaks. Okay. Boy, was that a good one. Let's move on from that.
That was a solid joke, Justin. I will give it a 7.1. But
That's
it is dropping as time goes along. But incredible Super Bowl. I'm sorry for those of you wanting to see Amy here and get her thoughts on the Patriots losing. I'm sorry she could not be here.
She's still crying,
She's been in tears all day long that Tom Brady lost. And he had to go gorge himself on some extra almonds and strawberries last night. I
think he'll be okay consoling himself with his 5 rings. I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, incredible. You know what? Everyone was praising Doug Peterson. I got to give him credit too. I think that was it. You know, especially watching the Titans play the Patriots, where we got extremely conservative and just kind of got away from our game plan. Doug Peterson did not waver once in the biggest game of his life. He continued to stay aggressive. I read a great article this morning, I think from ESPN, saying that the way that you take down this Patriots team is you don't try to survive them. You go out and you kill them, and you empty your whole round of bullets in them is how you beat this team. And that's exactly what Doug Peterson did. From his gutsy call on 4th and goal to where Nick Foles caught the TD to going for it late in the game, down 1, I think, on 4th and 5. Just the whole game stuck with his plan of being aggressive. did not shy away from the evil empire or face the pressure of going up against the dynasty that was the Patriots. So huge credit to Doug Peterson. He had some major gonads last night coaching. Also to Dave Filippo and Jim Schwartz too. I think they coached a great game. Out-coached Bill Belichick, dare I say.
Yeah.
Other than
I think so.
The big storylines, Tom Brady losing Brandon Cooks. It was like he didn't even miss him. Tom Brady threw for over 500 yards and 3 touchdowns with 0 interceptions. That might have been his best Super Bowl performance ever. It's crazy because I saw people on Twitter bashing him, saying, "Oh, he finally looks old here. He's showing his age." How is that showing his age? He just put up one of the most incredible Super Bowl performances ever.
Maybe they saw his scramble where he ran for like 2 yards and went down, and he was caught from behind from like 15 yards away in like an instant. They might have saw that game because he showed his age on that scramble.
Yeah,
but
and he also
was
showed
never
his age
an elite
on
athlete.
And we finally found out the one thing Tom Brady can't do: catch the ball. Oh, that had to be embarrassing for Brady. And then the Eagles, just to rub it in, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna make Nick Foles catch one, not just a pass, but a touchdown." It was a great game. People were saying Nick Foles torched the Eagles D, which he did, but Tom Brady Nick Foles torched the Patriots defense, which he did, but Tom Brady equally torched the Eagles defense. It was a total offensive game. Big plays, not any like huge touchdowns, but big 40, 50-yard plays here and there.
There were receivers running free on both sides of the football just all game long. Just defense. We talk about this game being an epic, awesome game, but the defense has left something to be desired at the same time. But hey, shootouts are always fun. So it was still very entertaining.
Did this go against the whole thing of defense wins championships? I know the Eagles have had a good defense all year, but they were pretty non-existent except for basically one play, which was the strip sack of Tom Brady. It came down to which defense can make even one play. The Patriots failed to make one play or capitalize on anything. The Eagles did capitalize on that one play. And still, speaking to Tom Brady's legacy, after the Eagles got that fumble and kicked the field goal, I'm still like, you know what? Tom Brady is probably going to at least go down and tie this and send this to overtime with 58 seconds left and no timeouts. So I think that speaks to his legacy. Just everyone I was watching the game with was like, the Patriots aren't out of it even after he fumbled that. What are your take on the game, Justin?
Ye of little faith.
Yeah.
Kind of what you're going on and saying what you did about the defense. I think that mantra still holds true because, like you said, that was the only sack by either team in the entire game, was that strip sack by Brandon Graham. And then got to shout out Derek Barnett, more of a being in the right place at the right time than anything else. But, hey, he still made the play. So shout out to Brentwood Academy's
nice hands.
Yeah,
that was he had good hands. He picked the ball up off a bounce. Not many, skill players can do that. So, yes, I gave some people crap for praising Derek Barnett for making that play when Graham was really the one who strip sacked him. But he did have some nice hands on the play. He recovered the fumble, so that's. But
we're still happy for him. He was the Brentwood Academy standout who goes on to have an all-time sack career leader at UT, and now he's recovering a fumble from Tom Brady to seal a Super Bowl win. Fun to see him making his name known throughout all levels of football now. But defense came up with the big play to seal it. But it was more about the offense. You said everything I was going to. Doug Peterson, unbelievable game plan, and he showed it throughout this entire season. Carson Wentz going down, and then the offense does not skip a beat, and they are still attacking and staying aggressive with their backup quarterback. And a big takeaway that I saw with that is the importance of having a very capable backup quarterback.
Yes.
And I know that's tough because it's hard to even find your starting quarterback for a lot of teams. There's tons of examples of teams just searching for starting quarterbacks for over a decade. But, even if you have to overpay, because the Eagles signed Nick Foles last offseason for 2 years for, I think, $11 million, something like that. And a lot of people were saying, why are the Eagles overpaying a backup quarterback? They're throwing money away. But no, that is a crucial position to have, locked up.
Is looking like a steal now. They just got a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Basically, he was the closer of the season for the Eagles. When does that ever happen? Yeah. So that's looking like a great deal for them.
Unreal. And over the broad start to finish of the NFL, now that we see the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, Doug Peterson probably, I mean, no discredit to Sean McVay and what he did in almost said St. Louis, but in L.A., but Doug Peterson probably should have been the coach of the year, especially in that Super Bowl, and out-coaching Bill Belichick and just throwing punch after punch after punch when his defense was kind of expected to give up a lot of points to the greatest quarterback of all time, and Tom Brady.
Which they did.
But I do have – yeah, they did. And I do have a couple notes, though, about how to beat the Patriots. I did say in our picks video that getting consistent pressure on Brady was going to be key, and they weren't really doing that throughout the entire game until their one strip sack late in the fourth quarter, and you saw Tom Brady picking them apart the entire game long. But another key in beating Tom Brady is keeping him on the sidelines with your offense, which they did exceptionally well. I mean, they won the time of possession battle 34 minutes to 26 minutes, and they were 10 of 16 on third down conversions and 2 for 2 on fourth down conversions. That's amazing efficiency, and they just keeping their drives alive and keeping the defense rested to where they were, ready to make a play late in the game, which is what we saw. So yeah, huge shout out. One more note: 1 punt in the entire game from the Philadelphia Eagles, and like I said, the Eagles went for it on fourth down twice. The Patriots went for it on fourth down twice as well. So there were opportunities, I guess, for a punt to be called, but still, 1 punt in the entire game. It's pretty spectacular.
This game was the epitome of the modern day NFL. It's like, if you want to compete with the best, here is how you do it. Run these offenses. Stay aggressive. This is how you compete. This is how you make it to the top of the league, which is exactly the opposite of basically what Malarkey and Terry Robisky were doing this past season. A few notes on the coaches that I find ironic. Saw this kind of. I guess throwing shade at ESPN in this one, but
you should do that.
Out of all the head coach hires last offseason, they actually had Doug Peterson ranked as the worst head coach hire, and they had Hugh Jackson ranked as the best head coaching hire of the offseason this past year. Obviously, Hugh Jackson goes 0-16. Doug Peterson wins the Super Bowl with the Eagles.
So don't take anything you read on ESPN seriously.
Exactly.
That is the lesson.
Only take what we say here at Titans Tube seriously. That's it. Another thing, we've talked about Doug Peterson. Let's talk about Bill Belichick, because he did some very Belichickian things this game, which were odd, and I think it kind of backfired on him in this game a little bit. One, I'm going to throw out a few things, then we can talk about the Malcolm Butler thing, Malcolm Butler's situation. Two, where was Gronk's targets in the first half? I don't know either, really.
Yeah.
Three, crap, I had a third one. Now I'm blanking on it. I felt like there was another big thing that he failed to do.
Should have written it down.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
I thought the thing that was almost the most against his character was the little fake lateral on after the Eagles kicked that last field goal on the kickoff return, where the Patriots tried to do that lateral to Rex Burkhead on the kickoff. I thought that was completely out of character to Bill Belichick. He's got Tom Brady. I don't care if he doesn't have any timeouts. That put him in terrible field position. I know they still got a Hail Mary off anyways, but I wonder what it could have been if they had another 15 to 20 yards or something like that on just a typical kickoff.
Because wasn't the kickoff received in the end zone still?
I don't think so. I think it was received out of the end zone, but I'm not positive. I'll have to go back and rewatch the end. But those were three things. Yeah. I thought the Malcolm Butler thing, I was like, oh, that's just Bill Belichick being Bill Belichick. But then after, hindsight's 20/20, after seeing how the game played out and the Patriots secondary just got absolutely torched by a backup quarterback, I'm like, I feel like at some point Malcolm Butler could have been doing better than the people who were out there.
Yeah.
So there had to be some crazy reason for that. And then Gronk, too. Gronk was everyone knows already that Gronk is unstoppable. And it seems like in halftime, they're like, okay, right when they come out of the half, they're like, let's get Gronk the ball. I don't know why we weren't doing that in the first half, because he absolutely dominated the second half. So what are your thoughts on what I brought up?
They went to Gronk. They went to Gronk right away, and they went right down the field and scored a touchdown. I mean, that is weird how he was so quiet and not involved in the first half. I'm not sure if the Eagles were covering him up well, but yeah, I think he had like one catch for 9 yards at halftime, something like that.
And then on that first drive, I believe he had 4 catches for like 60 to 70 yards and a touchdown on their first drive of the second half. So obviously that was a halftime adjustment.
And he still got a second touchdown.
Yeah.
And he scored again. And they ended up taking the lead. It was like 33-32, so they ended up completing the comeback.
True.
Before the game ended.
But
they still retook the lead. Yeah, but they didn't hold on. Philadelphia kept throwing punches, which was so incredible to see.
So even when the Patriots take the lead, let's start with my first note. Even when the Patriots take the lead 33-32, at some point does Bill Belichick question whether he should like insert Malcolm Butler to like close the game? I mean, this guy rose to stardom because he was the unlikely hero of that Super Bowl. 3 Super Bowls ago? 4 Super Bowls ago? 3? When he made that interception against Russell Wilson, and he's been a solid, Pro Bowl caliber cornerback ever since then. And I saw a stat, he's played over 90% of their defensive snaps this year. And he doesn't play a single defensive snap in the Super Bowl. Belichick watching his secondary get torched all game. At no point, not even late in the fourth quarter when you get the lead, do you not want to put Butler in? What do you think happened? What?
What do I think happened? Why he didn't play?
Yeah.
There's been nothing official, I guess, yet. But I've heard different things. Reasons why that happened, including but not limited to him missing a team meeting, or maybe he was just late to a team meeting. I've heard a report where he was smoking marijuana, which I don't know how that gets out unless you fail a drug test, which I didn't see any failed drug test reports on him. I mean, unless he was like smoking in the coach's living room or something like that. I've heard that, and I heard he kind of got into it with a lot of the Patriots coaches either the day before the Super Bowl or just a couple days before the Super Bowl. They had some kind of dispute. So I'm not sure, and it's hard to say who's going to shoulder a lot of this blame. Was it just Bill Belichick being hard-headed and kind of just sticking to his guns and really flexing his muscle, or was what's his name, Butler? Was Butler really in the wrong here and really deserved to get benched, and he was acting way out of line? I'm not sure, but I think we'll learn exactly what went down in the coming weeks as that story comes out. But, yeah, definitely missed Butler. You know who else they missed? Was Logan Ryan, who's on our team now. They definitely could have used those two guys in this Super Bowl because that secondary was getting trashed by the Eagles. So, yeah, really odd circumstance and unexpected.
I mean, I think
with Malcolm Butler not playing.
I think their post-game comments made it even more confusing. I mean, I've heard exactly what you said. I heard he was late for curfew and then found with marijuana and then got into it with the coaches. Whatever the case, it seemed like he was still shocked to find out like right before the game that he wasn't going to be starting, let alone not even playing. And then his comments post game where he just said like, yeah, the team gave up on me, and Belichick was just like, yeah, it's a coaching decision. I don't know if there was something like that, like he missed curfew or he missed a team plane. I heard he was sick earlier in the week. I feel like Belichick would have addressed that, or some coach, some assistant coach, or some player would have made a comment on that. Rather, Butler's out here just being like, yeah, the team just randomly quit on me. Probably their best cornerback, secondary player, maybe out there in a game where they got torched. So it just seems confusing.
And I think Matt Patricia addressed it like barely, but it doesn't really make any sense. How he said, yeah, we had some different packages and this and that. And none of them kind of came up whenever in the defensive packages that we have when Butler was involved. So that's just how it all played out, which cannot be true. Like that cannot be what actually happened.
Yeah.
So there's some kind of disconnect.
I don't see how your whole game plan can exclude the player who played the most defensive snaps on your team this past year. I don't see what kind of game plan that is, and it's just really confusing from a coach who's hailed as possibly the greatest NFL coach in history, arguably. But that leaves Malcolm Butler. He's probably gone from New England, unrestricted free agent. So bring him on to Tennessee, yo. We'll let you miss curfew a few times as long as you play for us in the Super Bowl.
I don't know. I mean, I'm
just kidding.
He's a good player, but J-Rob also seems like a guy that rules with an iron fist as well. And if he's going to be a locker room problem, I don't know if J-Rob will want to bring him in. But we've seen J-Rob bring in all kinds of guys that have New England connections, so it wouldn't surprise me. But, I mean, if we added him along with Logan Ryan and Adoree Jackson, those are 3 pretty solid cornerbacks to be able to lean on.
Yeah, and Logan Ryan
season.
and him would already have that chemistry. I mean, Logan Ryan tweeted after the game last night, he just tweeted #FreeTheButler, obviously referring to Malcolm Butler letting him play somewhere else. I assume Logan Ryan would want him in Tennessee. He's his former Super Bowl winning teammate. So, but that's outside of the game. Another player I think the Patriots sorely missed in this one was Dante Hightower. I think he's really kind of the glue to that the interior and the run stopping ability of the Patriots defense, because LeGarrette Blount tore them up. Jay Ajayi, I mean, both as let's see, Blount averaged 6.4 yards a carry, Ajayi 6.3. I mean,
just incredible.
Yeah, they had 164 yards rushing. So there was no defense whatsoever on New England's side, and vice versa with the Eagles too. But especially, since the Patriots lost.
I wonder how Detroit Lions fans feel now with Matt Patricia coming off giving up 41 points to a backup quarterback as the defensive coordinator of the Patriots.
Probably the same way.
Yeah, that wasn't a great.
Probably
look
the
for
same
him.
way the Giants fans feel about Pat Shurmur coming in to coach their offense after he only put up 7 points in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. No. Who knows? Who knows how they feel? But yeah, not great for those coaches' last games with their teams.
Yeah.
But yeah. What else? What else we got?
I mean, it was a fun game to watch. Definitely. Well, I mean, back to that. Just
very fun.
I don't know, man. I
have a quick segment that I didn't even tell you about.
Okay.
I'm gonna call it Q's for C, and that of course means questions for Caleb.
Okay. Interesting segment
here. It's great. There's only 2, and I don't know. They're not a big deal. Okay, first, what do you think will be done with Nick Foles, or what should be done with him? In a sense, what is he worth? Do you think Philly will try to trade him? If he does, what do you think they can get in return for him? I mean, he can be marketed now as a Super Bowl MVP. So, is that fool's gold, or is this guy a legit franchise quarterback?
I don't think it's fool's gold, because he's had
fool's gold.
Fool's gold, yes, it's not fool's gold.
Oh man,
nice puns.
Boy. All right, I'm done talking.
I don't think it's fool's gold, because he had that one incredible season with the Eagles already years ago, where people kind of deemed him as like the next franchise quarterback, and then he kind of struggled a few years. I don't think he's the type of quarterback that's going to lead any team through the regular season to the Super Bowl, but I think he's better than a lot of teams starting quarterbacks right now, and I think a lot of teams would like to have him. I mean, talk about if you're the Browns right now, wouldn't you rather get a guy like Nick Foles, who just beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl, someone who's kind of proven, who if you can get him around the right offense, he has the skill set to take a team to the Super Bowl and win, rather than banking on some unproven young guy in the draft. So I think there's going to be some landing spots, some interest for him in free agency or in the trade market this coming offseason. Yeah. And but I honestly, after what he did for the Eagles, I bet it would be really hard for the Eagles to part ways with him. Especially think about I don't know when Carson Wentz is scheduled to come back, but it might not be at the beginning of the season necessarily, so they'll need a starting quarterback or a backup quarterback for the first few games, possibly. Even then, what if Carson Wentz comes back and in the first half of the season really struggles? I feel like Philly fans are going to be calling for Nick Foles to take over then. So I don't know. I feel like end of the day, he's going to end up staying in Philly unless someone just makes an incredible offer for him. What do you think?
Yeah, like
now you can
No, I agree with everything you said. He would only, if I were Philly, I would only want to trade him if you're getting just a lot of draft picks, including like a first round or maybe an early second round. But if I were Philly, I would want to retain him as much as I can because, yeah, like you said, Carson Wentz coming off an injury. Who knows if he's going to be 100%? Who knows if he's going to be able to jump back and right back into rhythm and be the player that he was this past year before his injury? And they know what they have in Nick Foles. They know that he can run this offense to extraordinary success. And, yeah, unless there's a huge trade offer for him, I think they would want to keep him. But, yeah, I think you're right. Now, I have one more question for you. All right. Is this officially now the beginning of the end of the Patriots dynasty for you? Will we start to see them fade away finally? They're losing their offensive coordinator. They're losing their defensive coordinator. Patriots. Brady, which is pretty much the Patriots, is not getting any younger, even though he's coming off an MVP season. Maybe there's some locker room disconnect with what's happening with Malcolm Butler and yada, yada, yada. So what do you think? Are we going to finally see the beginning of the end of this dynasty?
There's a lot of time left for a lot of those decisions to be made regarding Belichick and Brady and even Gronk. Gronk would not commit to playing another year in the post-game press conference. I think that's just kind of being disappointed with how the game played out, and he just didn't want to start thinking about the future yet because all those media people are all like, what about next year? Are you retiring? Are you playing? What about next year? And it's like, shut up, man. I just lost a Super Bowl 5 minutes ago. Give me a break. I don't think this is the end of the Patriots dynasty just yet. I think Brady will probably play for another few years. I think he mentioned it in his post-game press conference that it's not the end for him yet. And I think it'll kind of be like Belichick and Brady will go out at the same time. I don't know if that's after winning another Super Bowl. I definitely think that the team as a whole is trending downwards. As far as losing their coordinators, I don't think that really ever affects the Patriots that much. I mean, they have cycled through coordinators through the history of their dynasty and barely missed a step here and there.
Yeah, and especially on the defensive side of the ball, they seem to have been regressing a little bit. Like this isn't the same Patriots defense, that they leaned on when they won their first 3 Super Bowls or even some of their more recent Super Bowls, because the defense was definitely a weaker Patriots defense than what we're used to seeing.
Yes.
I know they had some injuries this year, but they're going to have to get better in that department quickly as Brady gets older. So if they can make that happen, then yes, I think they can hang around for a couple more years and be Super Bowl contending team. But yeah, they got some work to do to get back at it.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily the team from years past when they won their first 3 where they were just kind of a powerhouse team behind Brady and Belichick and the defense. I definitely think, I'm not trying to be biased towards the Patriots. I'm not a Patriots hater either, but I definitely think this was probably the worst team that Brady and Belichick era has brought to a Super Bowl. Has played in, just with the injuries and then the overall defensive talent has just been down as opposed to the teams they've had in the past. I mean, they were, especially after the first quarter, Brady was out without his top 2 wide receiving options. Julian Edelman has missed all year. Brandon Cooks went out with a concussion. They were missing Dante Hightower. Malcolm Butler didn't play. And Tom Brady still throws for over 500 yards. So
Tom Brady did everything he could still. Tom Brady, an amazing performance. He broke the Super Bowl record for passing yards in last year's Super Bowl, and then he topped it this year. 500 yards in a Super Bowl. 3 different receivers going over 100 yards. Like that is ridiculous. If he had any kind of help from the defense, he probably would have his 6th ring.
Seriously. I mean, the one play I guess you could say the Patriots defense made was the interception, even though that was more on, I guess, Alshon Jeffrey kind of tipping it up. But even then, it was basically just a good punt because the Patriots only got the ball within their own 10 off that interception. So call that, it wasn't. I see the interception stat on Nick Foles' stat line. I'm like, well, nah, not really. I kind of overlooked that. But yeah, they definitely have some work to do. But with the how the AFC has been shaping out the past few years, everyone say that it's kind of on the rise, especially divisions like the AFC South. I still think the Patriots are going to be there. They play in a rather weak division. Miami, I know Buffalo made the playoffs this year, but they're going to have work to do. So I see the Patriots at least making the playoffs and contending for the Super Bowl for the next few years if Belichick and Brady stay.
Yeah, hard to go against them. as long as they're still together. I remember people starting to write off Brady after their second Super Bowl loss to the Giants. I think back in 2011. People were saying, "Oh, he's never going to make a Super Bowl again. His career is going to start to take a downward spiral." But he's won 2 Super Bowls and an NFL MVP since then. Maybe 2 NFL MVPs. I don't know. So can't ever count them out as long as Brady's playing at a high level.
Brady's played in 8 Super Bowls, won 5. There's now, after the Eagles won, 12 NFL franchises that haven't even won 1 Super Bowl.
And some that haven't even been to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Luckily, the Titans have been to the Super Bowl. But we got to win one. Next year is our year. Anyways, Justin, I have a segment for you. It's called C Q's for J. It's Caleb questions for Justin. Ha! Throwing this back at you.
Yes. Good.
I have no. It just came to me. Okay, one. What was your favorite Super Bowl commercial? This is kind of moving past the game, but still.
I don't know. I kind of was not paying attention during commercials, to be honest with you. Eli and Odell was. I think they got the award for best commercial. I'll just say that it was a fun take on Super Bowl celebrations.
Yes, I think there should be, with NFL bringing back or opening the rules up for celebrations this year, I think they should implement a new rule for the Super Bowl where the bottom 3 teams the bottom 3 finishing teams that year should have to try and have a contest to which team can make the best Super Bowl commercial, and then they all air during the Super Bowl and which bottom 3 teams made the best one. Because I thought that was the star.
And whoever wins gets an extra draft pick in the 7th round or something.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite commercial too. Also, did you watch the halftime show? I feel like that was a big deal.
JT, my brother Justin Timberlake. Yes. I thought it was okay. I mean, a lot of people were complaining about the audio or something, but I thought it was good. I mean, I'm glad it wasn't like a female performer that was scantily clad and being overly sexual with dance moves. I don't know. I'm not saying there's anything super wrong or terrible with that, but it's kind of uncomfortable, especially if you're watching the Super Bowl with your family or something. It just seems like an odd image to be seeing when you're with family or young friends and little kids watching. And I don't know if it's the best look, I guess, for the NFL, but the overly sexual performances just kind of make me feel weird. I don't know why.
They make you feel weird,
but or cringy a little bit, I guess. It doesn't fit with the theme of football, and this is the Super Bowl championship game. So I'm glad Justin Timberlake was the performer and he wasn't naked on stage.
Yeah, I don't really know what people expect out of the Super Bowl halftime show, because when I was checking Twitter while it was going on, and I feel like there was probably an even group of people saying this was absolute trash, the worst Super Bowl halftime show they've ever witnessed, and then other people, the other half, saying this was the best Super Bowl halftime show they ever witnessed. I'm like, I don't know what you want. You just want some mindless entertainment during halftime? I almost want to say just do a normal halftime show for the Super Bowl. I mean, they don't even pay the performers. It's just entertainment value for 14 minutes. I'd rather just them talk about the game, hear breakdowns of the game for that time rather than watch Justin Timberlake dance around with terrible audio. The Super Bowl halftime shows,
and even the dance moves were.
But they were.
I was just gonna say, even the dance routine seemed pretty basic. I guess I'm no expert, but I want to see you
do some of those moves.
Kind of thrown together,
man. You try some of those moves. Okay. Next Super Bowl halftime show.
I'll come out with another video.
Next Super Bowl halftime show will be Titans 2. We'll go ahead and announce it right here. We'll be dancing. But also, the audio has always been just chronically bad at the Super Bowl. I don't know who they get to do their audio guy. But remember the Red Hot Chili Peppers? Their instruments weren't even plugged in. So it's just kind of comical to me why people put so much weight on the Super Bowl halftime show. I'm like, just get back to the game. Especially last night's game. I'm like, this is awesome.
It's very overly produced.
Yeah.
And who was the person that came in that one year on a golden lion or something? Was that Katy Perry? I can't.
Yeah, it's almost like
is it worth it? Just chill, simmer down.
Yes,
Super Bowl
it's almost like they're
halftime.
trying way too hard, and everyone's just they either hate it or they're like, yeah, okay. get back to the game. We want to watch Tom Brady throw for over 500 yards. Okay. Anyways, any last thoughts on the game?
Yeah.
We've gone over our time limit here, of course. What's new?
No, it was.
I just said we've gone over the
first part of what you said.
We've gone over our time limit. Of course, this is Titans 2. What's new?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to talk about in this game. Honestly, I'm happy for Nick Foles. I kind of have warmed up to him since he took over for Carson Wentz. I kind of, like everybody else, dismissed the Eagles after Wentz went down, but just kind of seeing how Foles played and some of the interviews during Super Bowl week, he's just a genuinely good, humble guy that just seemed almost as amazed as everybody else that the Eagles were in the position they were. And so I'm happy for him. I'm glad it turned out well for him. And yeah, his name is etched in Super Bowl greatness now.
You know, I got to throw my hat in that ring too. Me and you, and I think Amy also, all three of us were very quick to just say the Eagles were doomed after Wentz went down and that they would not go far in the playoffs whatsoever. And we were completely wrong. So I will admit
they were underdogs in every playoff game.
They really embraced the underdog role, man. Another great coaching strategy by Doug Peterson. Everything he did seemed to work. So, yeah, congrats to the Eagles. Yeah. Philly getting their first Super Bowl win ever, and then they went and destroyed their whole city last night. Seems like a weird way to celebrate, but hey, that's how you do it now.
Not standing.
Okay, take us out, Justin.
Yeah. Hopefully the Titans will follow suit and get their first Super Bowl victory in 2019. But for the 2018 season. Yeah. We're doing it. Believe. That is going to do it for us in our Super Bowl reaction video. Follow us on Twitter. Watch our YouTube videos and subscribe. Instagram, Facebook, and Tinder also. So
Grindr
on all of that stuff.
What ifs?
Well, that's for you, but yeah. So sweet. Thanks, guys, for watching. Tune in for our next videos. Caleb, what are we going to talk about now? The season is over.
We're going to talk about how great Marcus Mariota is for the next. How long is it till the season starts? For the next 6 months.
August is 6
Every
months.
episode shall be about the greatness of Marcus Mariota. All right.
And they will all be worth watching.
Peace out, guys. Thank you for watching. Congrats, Eagles. Congrats, Philly.
True.
Philadelphia.